What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of Path of Resistance. Today we're going to be talking about a gun that I'm not only going to be reviewing for you, but I also carry this gun on a regular basis and have been for the past year. We're talking about the all-new Smith Wesson Bodyguard 2.0. Let's check it out. Alright, so real quickly, let's go over what actually comes in this thing when you purchase your new Bodyguard 2.0. Obviously, it comes with the gun itself. And it comes packaged in this cardboard box, which is one of my only pet peeves about this gun. This gun retails for about $450, street value around $400 all day long. And I think it's just something that Smith & Wesson does to save money. It's a little on the cheap side. It comes wrapped in this blue condom. It's got some safety information in there. Owner's manual. It comes with a lock for the gun, a 10-round mag, and also this 12-round mag, which is what I'm going to be using today. So honestly, packaging aside from the gun, what you're really going to be concerned with is how well it performs, how well it carries. Alright, so first impressions I had of this gun was it is a very small, very slim packaged gun. The grip texture is very nice, not overly aggressive. It's not going to give you any rash to wear it on your side all day. Very lightweight, super slim. Comes with a nice wide open back sight with a tritium glow front sight on there from the factory, which is actually pretty nice for a small pocket sized gun. The serrations on the front and back are aggressive but not overly aggressive. They do make racking the gun very easy from the back. You can rack it from the front, just whatever your personal preference of it is. The trigger pull on this gun is actually really nice. Make sure there's nothing in there. The trigger take up on this gun is rather short. It does have a safety there on the trigger, but you can see the take up of it is rather short. You feel the pressure of it, and the brake is nice and smooth. You get a nice audible reset on that trigger, and again, not much to pull on it. I've heard it advertised as like a very heavy trigger. I don't know what they're talking about. So with the two mags that come in the gun, you get the 10-round mag, which is a flush fit mag. But however, you don't really get a full solid grip on there. I don't have very big hands to begin with, but it still leaves a little bit of hangover on the pinky there. When using the 12-round mag, it's got a little bit of an extension over the 10-round, so it does poke out just a little bit more. But when it's inserted into the gun, it gives you that extra finger on there, stabilizes the gun nice and easy. This is my preferred mag that I use on a daily. I've never actually really carried it with the 10-round. The extra distance that it gives you on the bottom is barely noticeable, if any. Alright, so out here on the range test today, we're going to be shooting several different kinds of ammo through it. Some Blazer ammunition, some Fialchi Range Dynamics, a brand I've never really heard of. This is Sierra Outdoor Master. Comes in a hollow point, and some Hernady Critical Defense hollow points as well. To do the range test, I'm going to be using this cheap Amazon CYA holster for the gun. I'll leave a link down in the description below for that guy. It fits the gun perfectly, holds onto it tightly. Draw on it is very nice. Audible click in. Probably the best $30 holster you're going to find out there. I use it every day, have been for past years since I've had this gun. Now, like I said, I'm going to be using the 12-round mag, but I'm going to be doing it in 10-round intervals. Easier to keep track of the numbers, I guess. I'm going to start off with the Fiachi. I usually use the Blazer. I know the Blazer performs incredible. The Fiachi performs really good as well. I've never had any issues with that. Let's go ahead and load up some rounds in here so you can see exactly how the mag feels on it. And 10. I can tell you honestly with this gun, to do 12 rounds in here, you will fight to get the last round in there. It is a super hard stiff spring in this guy. Now, when it's advertised as a 12+1 or 10+1 gun, that's going to bring me to my one other pet peeve that I don't like about this gun. There is a way around it. I can show you how to go around that. So normally when you want to do a 10+1 or a 12+1, whatever, you would take the round, insert it into the barrel, and close the slide. But as you can see on this, it pushes the pin out and it doesn't seat all the way in there. I don't know why it does that, but it does that. So the way I found to go around that is I go ahead and load up the full mag, or just one round in the mag, chamber it. You can see it locks in there the way it's supposed to. Take that out. That's the only complaint, is that you have to set it in a safe position to finish loading the magazine with another round. Alright, so before we get into the actual meat and potatoes of this review, which is its performance out here on the range, I wanted to go over the actual concealability of this gun. Like I told you, it's very small, very discreet, very easy to hide under nothing more than just a t-shirt like this. I know it's advertised as a pocket pistol. That's not the way I choose to carry it. It's just personal preference. I have my cell phone in this pocket, and you can see the print that this leaves on there, so you can only imagine if I had another thing about the size of that in this one as well. So where I do choose to carry it on a day-to-day basis, where I find it most comfortable, it's actually right here on my 3 o'clock position on my right hip. Everybody's got their own personal preference. It's just how I prefer to carry it. If you're an appendix kind of carry guy, I know a lot of you guys out there are. Very easy to conceal there as well. Doesn't really leave any visible printing. And if you're wearing a extra medium style shirt, you may print up just a little bit, but you know, that's your style. So very easy to conceal, very minimum look of the gun. As I said, I personally carry it in the 3 o'clock position. It's where I like it. Doesn't really leave any kind of visible showing of the gun that you can actually see. And the design of this gun is very nice. Very low drag from it, depending on your garment. I've never had a snag pulling it out from concealment. Comes right out. You get a lot of stock on the handle when you pull it up. Coming up on the target's very quick with this gun. So the draw from just a casual interaction, whatever, maybe even with your hands up, it's out in a jiffy. So what I would recommend with this gun is practice with it the way you intend to carry it. If you're an appendix guy, practice all you can from pulling from the appendix. If you're a 3 o'clock position like me, always practice to pull from 3 o'clock. Again, with the whole pocket thing, under a high stress situation, you know, I don't know. I just don't think that's a viable way to carry a firearm, especially given a situation where, say, you're fighting off an assailant and you're on your back. How easy are you going to get into your pocket to access that weapon to get them off of you? It's just easier to grab it from the waist and pull it out. So the first 10 rounds we're going to send out of this gun, we're going to be shooting at that target down there. We're going to be going from a defensive position of about 7 to 10 yards away. Going to kind of fire it slow to see just how accurate we can get. trying to hit right dead in the center of that target there. Let's see what we got. All right, now comes the fun part. Like I said, we are about 7 yards away from that target. We are gonna do 10 slow controlled rounds to see just how close I can get inside that center ring there. So you can see how the gun performs, the recoil action on it, and the trigger pull. Let's fire off some rounds. All right, 10 rounds out of the Bodyguard 2.0. Always performs flawlessly. Let's check it out. So one thing I've been told about this gun is that from the factory, the sights tend to be a little bit left leaning, which I would say that's about right. My first shot hit right here. Then I adjusted it, brought it in, and got even a little bit closer. So it does take a little bit of getting used to dialing in that little left lean of the gun. But for 10 rounds, all hitting right in here, it's actually not too bad. Again, I'm not the best marksman or anything with this, but for a super small gun with a super short barrel on this thing, the recoil management is not bad on it. The shot consistency is pretty good. Alright, so we just saw the Bodyguard 2.0 perform with the 10 rounds of Fiachi ammo. This time I'm going to load up with 10 rounds of the Blazer Full Metal Jacket 95 grains. And we're going to do another slow controlled group and see how close we can get into that center. Not bad. Always performs great. Great trigger pull on this thing. Good reset on it. Very manageable recoil. Let's see what we got. Alright, so again on this one, we did the 10 rounds of the Blazer ammo. We're hitting right around in this area right here, which is pretty close to dead center. Not a dead center bullseye just yet. It's very manageable to control this gun. We're going to go ahead and reload again. Maybe this time I'm going to do a little bit of rapid fire so you can see the actual muzzle flip and recoil control of this. Alright, so we've shot 20 rounds out of this thing. For this time, we're going to go ahead and draw from concealment and speed the rounds up just a little bit. Maybe a little double tap, and see how it performs this time. Ate it up just fine. Alright, so this one we're not going for accuracy on this. We're just going to burn through the 10 rounds. I've loaded up with 10 rounds with the Fiachi Full Metal Jacket 95 grains. We're going to see how it performs under 10 rounds of just rapid fire. Just going to mag dump this bad boy, see how it does. Very nice. This thing just runs like a sewing machine, just runs and runs and runs. Love this gun. Alright, so this time let's go ahead and plink some steel with this bad boy. So again, we're going to do another 10 rounds of the Fiachi Full Metal Jacket 95 grains. Alright, so we've seen some performance of this guy from close up in a defensive range position. But now we've got a steel silhouette down there at 25 yards away from us. I've got 2 rounds in the mag. I'm going to see if I can't get that thing to knock down in just 2 rounds. One and done. Alright, so this one we're going to kind of role play a little bit. We're about an arm's distance length away from this target here. So we're just going to role play a little bit. We're in a bad situation. Maybe this person is talking all kinds of trash, talking about wanting to hurt you, and they brandish a knife or whatever they may have on their persons and whatnot. So this is going to illustrate just how quick you can get your gun out and on target and save your own life, okay? Alright, so we fired 82 rounds out of this gun. It's starting to get a little bit warm. I don't know if you can see from where the front sight is. It's got a little bit of bluing on there from the heat. Still running flawlessly, but now that I've got it warmed up and running nice and hot, let's go ahead and run 10 rounds of some defensive ammo. The Sierra Outdoor Master through there. These are 90 grain jackets. And these are hollow points. So let's see how the hollow points perform through this thing now that it's got a little bit of heat in it. Alright, so like I was saying, the gun is showing signs of getting hot. So I'm going to go ahead and fire some of this hollow point Sierra Outlaw on there, or Sierra Outdoorsman. Hollow point jackets, some people say they have issues with it feeding correctly with hollow points on there, so I figured get the gun nice and hot. 82 rounds, it's plenty warm now. It's not a very big gun, so there's not a whole lot of area for the heat to escape or vent. So let's go ahead and run 10 rounds through this thing with the hollow points and see how it performs. I've never shot this ammo before. This is the first time in this gun, so let's see what it does. No issues there. I didn't think it would have any issues, but I'm actually glad that it didn't have any issues. So, solid performing gun all around. Full metal jackets, hollow points. Doesn't really matter with this thing. But just to test that theory, I've got another set of hollow points, those Hernady critical defense ones. So we're going to load up while it's still nice and warm, and we're going to go again. So going again with more of the self-defense rounds. These are the Hernady critical defense hollow points. They've got a little red tip on the end of there. I think it's supposed to help the expansion on them. So this mag here with 10 rounds in this is going to take us to round 102 today in a very short period of time. The gun is a bit warm, but hasn't failed to feed, hasn't stovepiped anything, no malfunctions. We're going to feed it into the Bodyguard 2.0, and I don't expect to have any issues, but let's find out. And it did fail to feed up in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and pull the mag out. We're going to eject that round and lose it on the ground. That's literally the first failure to feed I've ever seen on this gun. Let's try it with the next mag, with the next round. See if maybe this round just might be buggered or something. Pins pushed out. I do not think this gun likes this Hernady critical defense. Alright, so it finally happened. The gun's first failure to feed using the Hernady critical defense. I've never been a big fan of that round personally. I have ran it in my Ruger LCP. Could have been the reason why that gun jammed up all the time too. I don't know. But so what I've done is I've gone back and I've put 5 rounds of the Blazer full metal jackets back in there. I don't know if it's an issue because the gun's running a little bit hot right now. So I went back to the regular full metal jacket range ammo. We're going to put a little bit more heat back into the gun with these 5 rounds. Then we're going to go ahead and load up another 5 rounds of that Sierra Outdoor hollow points, and we're going to see if we get any more issues with feeding into it. All right, took the blazer just fine. Locked back just fine. Definitely a little bit of bluing up there on the top from the heat. So let's go ahead and grab another 5 rounds of that Sierra hollow point. All right, so now we've gone back to the 5 rounds of the Sierra hollow points on there, defensive rounds. The gun's still nice and warm, hasn't really had any time to cool off. So we're going to go ahead and pump these through here. Make sure that the issue with the Hernady wasn't because it was a failure to feed on the ramp because of the hollow points or anything like that. Let's see what it does. I honestly think it's just the Hernady ammo on there. I've never had any issues with this gun, and that's honestly the only time I've ever seen it on camera have an issue with feeding around in there. So could just be the round. I wouldn't hold it against the gun, but just for your knowledge, Bodyguard 2.0 doesn't really care for that Hernady critical defense. Alright, so far today on the range, we've done 102 shots out of this thing. The only failures to feed were from the Hernady. So I'm going to use my last of the Fiachi full metal jackets. I've only got 9 rounds in there, but while it's still nice and warm, let's go ahead and just mag dump this out, see how she does when she's got some heat to her. Just like I thought, still eats it up just fine. Alright, so this is going to be my last 5 rounds of today of the hollow points, the Sierra. This is just 5 rounds. I'm going to see if I can transition from this target over to that target, see if I can knock down some steel with this thing. Nice. That went pretty quick, actually. So, we fired 121 rounds out of this gun today. I've got 5 rounds of the Blazer full metal jackets in there to round the day out at 126 round count. This gun's ran flawless all day. Did not like the Hernady, but has liked everything else that we've put through it. And I hope I've been able to illustrate to you just how well performing this little teeny tiny gun actually shoots. It actually feels like a much bigger gun in a super small frame. So let's go ahead and load up these last 5 rounds and pump them through her. I don't know what else to say, man. The Bodyguard 2.0, it's an incredible little pocket pistol that you don't got to carry in your pocket. And so that's it for the range test of the Bodyguard 2.0. So who's this gun for? Well, this gun makes a great primary everyday carry. If you're looking for deep concealment, good reliability in a very small package, a good reputable name like Smith Wesson. If you're on a budget of around $400 to $500 guns, definitely check this gun out because this retails for about $400 all day long. This gun has done so well that they've came out with a comp carry series, which extends the barrel a little bit. I think it's a ported barrel, so get even less muzzle flip on this during rapid fires. This gun works best for anybody who may not be a very large person. I would say a larger individual with bigger hands might kind of fight with the grip to get a good stock on it. But overall, it does great for me. I'm 5'6", don't have big, massive hands, but the gun very much can hide behind my hand. It would work great as a backup gun if you do like a carry on your ankle for a backup pistol. It would do great for that. Maybe you've got a wife or something that has her carried license and has been looking for a gun, this is definitely one for them to look at too. I personally carry this gun on a day-to-day basis. Usually when I'm at work, a few of my other guys that I work with, they also carry, so I don't feel like I need a super large capacity, super big round gun. I really need something that's comfortable enough for me to sit all day in, get up, move around with without having to constantly adjust it, and it does that just fine. Fits into your waistband to where you pretty much forget that it's there because it is so lightweight. But you always know that it's there to have your back when you really need it. So the Smith Wesson Bodyguard 2.0, I think, is a very phenomenal gun, offered at a very good price. And I hope you guys learned something about it today, about whether or not you could use it for a self-defense situation, everyday carry, and really, you need to go out there and get your hands on this thing to really appreciate it. Like I said, the sights on there are really nice. The grip is very nice. The texture of the gun is very nice. Breakdown of the gun is super easy. I've already got a video up of that, of how to break it down, clean and lube it. I'll leave a link down in the description below if you guys want to check that out, if, say, you already have one of these guns. Nothing but good comments about that. Just a few quirks that I have with it, with trying to load one in the barrel. It kind of jams up there. I showed you how to get around that. And really only the Hernady critical defense ammo was the only thing today that this thing did not like. Would not even properly load one in there. I didn't even want to mess with it, so I took it out and we went back shooting. Overall, guys, this is an incredible gun. It won't let you down. I promise. You're going to fall in love with this gun as soon as you get it out of the box and start shooting it. So that's going to be it for today's episode of Path of Resistance. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys learned a little bit. If you liked this episode, definitely give it a like. If you've got any suggestions, any comments about any guns that you're also interested in, how this one may stack up with it, drop it down in the comments. Still looking to get a range episode of a comparison of some top 3 concealed carry guns, so look for that in the future. If you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and subscribe. So that's it for me out here on the range today. The Bodyguard 2.0 performed great. I hope to see you guys on the next one. Thank you.